Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, I give you BVO.
Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know, shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know, every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know, I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show, this is BVO.
On behalf of BVO Boxing TV, we would like to thank our sponsor, Raycon. Don't forget to grab your Raycon Everyday Earbuds, the perfect bass model for premium sound, with active noise cancellation to block out distractions and transparency mode to keep you aware of your surroundings. They're ideal for your everyday needs. Just visit rayconglobal.com. That's rayconglobal.com and elevate your listening experience.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy BBO Boxing, back with another video. This is a BBO TV video. Shout out to our sponsor, The Breakfast Box. Definitely shout out to our main sponsor of this episode, and that is Raycon. Thank you so much, Raycon. Go to rayconglobal.com to see all our available products. Right now, we have 25% off site-wide, so make sure you go to rayconglobal.com. That's rayconglobal.com. I'll put it like this. I'm excited about today's show. Today's show, I'm going to start off a little different. I'm going to come in and I'm going to bring my brothers in. We're talking about the lost art of fatherhood. You say, why you say that, BBO? I think one of the most important things I've ever done in my life is become a father. It's one of the hardest jobs I've ever had, and it's been one of the most rewarding jobs I ever had. And I think the one thing I'm learning about being a father is that you're not going to say everything right. You're not going to do everything right. But the key is to keep trying and to keep getting better as a person and as a man. I could say there's so many things that I'm gonna get into to kind of unpack this for you guys before we get everybody on here. But I just really can say I always wanted someone to go to bat for me. When you growing up in the projects, I'll say people don't understand. Salute to my brother, salute to my brother Bentley, salute to my brother TD. People don't understand that when you're growing up in the projects, there's such a hopeless feeling about your life. You're not always able to convey that or talk about that, but it's a very hopeless feeling when you have a great day and then it's time to come home and you close your door and your door is a big metal slab door and you're in the projects and you go up to your room. You live in a row house. You go up to your room and the heat is under control, so it can only get so warm because they want to keep the heat a certain way. And I could just remember just how devastating that was. It was so devastating as a child to grow up in an environment where everybody was so violent. There was not much of a regard for human life. When people are poor, people don't understand. You become very instinctual. And I think that for me, I definitely didn't like that environment. And I'll be honest with you, fear played a huge part in how I was able to navigate that. And when I say fear, the fear of me never wanting to be dominated made me very violent, very quick to anger, very unruly, very wanting to cause bodily harm serious bodily harm at that. So for me, I'll say that I learned a lot from those days. And unfortunately, I wish and I got time to still continue that. I wish I would have knew as much as I know now. Because I just didn't realize when I was going through those different things, it was setting me up for a better life. Um, when you come up like I did, when you had younger parents who are trying to find themselves. My mother was 18, my father was 20. So they were young, trying to find themselves, let alone having a child. So for me, um, I just definitely can say I was just looking to be better. And for me, I really take great pride in being able to say I was able to, through the grace of God, to navigate through that. And now I look at myself, many years later. Been married almost, 11 years or so. And I just look at life now so different than I once did. And I could say being a father has shown me that this little person, these little people, you want to be there for them and give them the opportunity that you may have never had. Um, give them an opportunity to feel safe, to know that someone has their back. Because, when you're growing up and you don't necessarily have that from your direct father, I got it from my grandparents. I don't want to say I didn't have it, but I'll just say for me, I definitely can say, I just wish my parents were older so they would have knew better. And it sucks when you're a kid and you don't know how to say it. And I'll say something real that really hit me. I had a parent say to me when they were young that I had to learn how to love myself before I could love you. And you say, what does that mean? What does it have to do with being a father? These little things that happen, you'll be surprised, shape you into the person that you want to be. And they can either help you be better or they'll help you be quite a bit worse. And I'll say, in my opinion, I've learned that you really got to just take things one day at a time, and you got to work hard to be that better person, because there's nothing worse than when you're, trying to navigate the life that you want to live and you don't necessarily know what the blueprint is. But I got blessed to have a blueprint. And that's why, for me, a guy like me comes off as a very older man, because I grew up admiring the Cosby Show. I grew up admiring that type of life where the man was there for his lady, his children. And you say, well, that's a safe route. Well, I went that route because I just wanted better. And even when you want better, there's nothing worse than when you want better and you don't know what that better is. Um, and I'll just say, for me personally, being able to be a father has blessed me so much, because I can be that man that I wanted there for me. And this is no disrespect to Big BVO. Big BVO, I'm his junior. Um, and I don't never want to step on what he's done. He's been a great father. And as they say it best, I reckon he did his best. So I'm not trying to in any way trying to say anything rude or crude about him. I could just say, when it comes to my daughter, I see myself each and every day trying to be a better person for her. Um, and I just thank God for that opportunity each and every day to be a better man. It's the funniest thing in life where you say, you know what, I want better, but you don't even know how to identify what that better is. I just knew growing up, being in the projects wasn't it. It wasn't it. I knew catching the jitney cab. I don't know if anybody know about the jitney cab. It used to be these people, it wasn't a real cab. It was just like these people who would drive their car before, like Uber and Lyft. They would come pick you up. And there's nothing worse than riding in somebody's raggedy, as my grandmother would call it, jalopy. I don't know if you ever heard that term, jalopy. Ain't nothing worse than riding that raggedy jalopy, man, and be like, I don't want to live like this. Or you go over someone's house and there's no food in the fridge. I remember my dad said this is the funniest thing ever. I came home, I was playing some sport. I can't think of what sport it was. I'll just say football, just to say. And I came home, I'm hungry. You know, you ready to eat? And my dad said, "Well, you better get ready to comb your hair in the back of that fridge, bro, because it ain't nothing in there." And I remember thinking to myself, you could comb your hair in the back of the fridge. That mean ain't nothing in there, doc. There ain't nothing in there. And I just say, for me, I laugh about it now, but as a child, I was devastated. And I can say now, I had to kind of check myself when, my children didn't listen to certain things when I tell them something, because they don't know what it's like to grow up in the projects. Daddy's always been here. They don't know what it's like to say, man, daddy, can you do this? Dad, can you do that? So I had to, sometimes as a father, you got to check yourself and say, you know what? Just being there and providing is not enough. Um, I'm not trying to get on like some soapbox with this thing. I just know that for me, I wanted to be that father that I dreamed for myself. And when I was young, watching the Cosby Show, call me Cody if you want, I figured I felt like I was Theo. I felt like I was Theo watching those reruns on Nick at Night. And I just said, if I play Theo, they'll treat me like that. And you know what? Guess what? Fast forward 20 some years later, BVO is Heathcliff. I got friends that laugh and say, "Oh, you are Heathcliff," blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I don't take that as nothing. I take that as a blessing. Hey, you took the safe route. You could have did this, you could have did that. But you know what? It worked out. It worked out. You know, getting to drive new cars, having an ice maker. Dog, these are things that seem nothing to you. But I remember being so excited moving out of my childhood home, because I didn't leave the projects until I was an adult, moved out of school, all that. That's when I left the projects. We didn't get a chance to do better. No, I was still in the projects until I was able to get myself out. I remember thanking God for like the heat, because I used to love to feel the heat, hear the heat come on, and I used to live by the train track so I could hear the trains going by. And I would just be so excited, grown man, super excited about hearing the train go by and hearing that heat kick on. And I just say, for me personally, I just thank God I was able to go through those things. And now people laugh and call my kids. They laugh at my kids and say, "Oh, your kids are proper. You raised them white." We all done heard the stupid little things people say. They think they so funny, but I can say for me, I'm okay with that. My daughters are the first children in my family to not have school lunch tickets. I grew up with lunch tickets. Now, you say that's small. No, that's a big deal to me that my daughter can spend money to get what she wants. And I don't take that lightly. So I just say the art of being a father, the thing is, you're going to have a lot of sacrifice. You're going to have to, pay your dues, so to speak. And you can never be scared. You can never be scared to say, "Hey, I got to get better. I got to do more. I got to say more." So I see we got a couple people in the house. I'm going to shout some people out real quick while the brothers come through. We got my brother Bentley in the house. Salute to my man Bentley from Miami Gardens Zone. Bentley, Puerto Rican Tommy, Thomas Shield the Chairman. We got D Free. We got my big brother Mark Nash coming through. TD Sports. Um, we got my guy Crush as well. So I mean, I just say, for me, I wanted to make sure I started this conversation with me being introspective and kind of telling you guys about how I seen it, because I read a book. What I did was this, and y'all probably laugh at this, but I changed my life from my projects through. So what I would do, I would sit in a chair right in front of my door, because if you live in the projects, they like all in a line and right in front of my door. It wasn't a big, it was just a small little walkway. Um, I would read books. First book I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad. Next book I read was The 48 Laws of Power. Next book I read was The Art of Seduction. I said, you know what? I ain't going to get no mentor because nobody I know knows anything. So you know what I did? I watched and I grab different books to kind of learn how to do better and to get better. And I can say I'm glad about it because, man, I look at my life now. It's lit, as the youngsters would say. It's lit, man. I'm living good out the country when I want. Been had a passport. They got to put my raggedy toes in the sand in a couple different beaches. So I'm just excited, man, because I just could say one of the things you learn when you actually live life and read, because BVO is a big reader, is that you understand how to put things in perspective. And one of the perspectives I learned is that I can't be selfish in how I move, how I speak, and how I do things. There's been plenty of times when, I'll say something to my daughter and my wife will say, well, you shouldn't say it like that. And I say, I got worse. I was treated worse. I never had an opinion. If you thought you had an opinion, they're going to beat it out of you. They're going to beat it out of you. And to have a child and you're not doing that, it's a very funny thing because you say, well, doggone, those life skills that I've developed and have made me want to do more and better for myself. Man, it's tough. And the thing you got to remember is that when you want to be better, it's the hardest thing in the world to do things different and to do things that you're not used to. And for me, parenting with kind words, parenting with, no hitting, parenting with, and I'm gonna just call it what it is, a lot of love. Because I was a big kid. At 10 years old, I'm 5'10", 5'11". So my parents was like, I was a little big person. So it was like, what we gonna do with this dude who's strong as an ox, big as they come. And I was just taught very harshly. And it's so funny that I gotta watch what I say to my little ones because I got two daughters, and you know, you don't want to hurt nobody with something you say. And for me, I never cared about words. BBO never cared about words because I remember a friend of mine unfortunately got stabbed. The brother had I can't think of what you call that bag. Um, we call it a poop bag back in the day. Had the poop bag. He come to the block. First thing Cash says, man, your poop bag stink. I'm like, the dude just got here from getting poked up, and y'all talking about this dude? And it made me laugh because you gotta have elephant skin. We call it walrus skin in the hood. I remember I had messing with this cat. You know how it is. You being a bully. I done whooped this cat's head so many times for whatever reason. One day, I slapped the dog out of him in front of the ice cream truck. I think it's over. He come back, dog on brick, hit your boy with the brick. I go down, I go right in the crib after I got hit with the brick. And the part that made me laugh now about it, that was all avoidable. But I just wanted to be that guy so bad because it's funny because I look at it, I was scared to death. So I wanted to be the dude to let you know if you did anything to me, I'm going to hurt you bad. And I would say that, and it goes on to fatherhood. I learned that that's not the way to be. And all that anger is a waste of time. Emotional intelligence is one thing a lot of men are missing. You gotta have an emotional intelligence. You can never react. You cannot be reactive. That's how women are. Women and children can be reactive. Men cannot. And we got these over emotional men who are causing major damage because they don't understand how important it is to have emotional intelligence. And I'm gonna just tell you this: you gotta have it if you want to be a good man. It used to be this show. I can't remember the name of the movie. They had this saying: if you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. Why do I remember that? Because It's not a game. When I think about Friday, the movie Friday, as everybody's like to say, you know what I remember? I remember Craig saying, Smokey, you walk up and down the block playing. You think he playing about his money? You think he playing? No. And the reason I remember that is because so many people go through life just playing. And it's time out for that. It's time to step up, be a father. It's time to take care of your children. It's time to do the right things for you and your family. And I'm telling you, too many times as men, we got to understand that, yo, it don't matter how you feel. Do I want to get up early in the morning, you know, to take care of mine? Not always. But I just always think, why don't you do that? Because you always wanted somebody to do that for you. And that's been my greatest joy. And that's the part about fatherhood I wanted to make sure I got. I don't know where my brother's at. I'm gonna try to get them in here real quick so we can get this conversation going. Um, I just think that for me, it's so important to be a father. It's so important to take care of your children. It's so important to be there for them because that's what we here to do. I'm gonna read this from my brother Mark Nash. He said, I remember the girl in my neighborhood used to eat grits for dinner all the time. Some kids teased her, but I remember my mom telling me, don't get involved that because you had involved that because that's all they have to eat. Hey, you speak in facts. You speak in facts, Mark, because I grew up with cats who didn't have no parents. People don't know what that is. I'm talking about I knew some really good guys that didn't have parents. Um, and I just think about if they would have had somebody to love them, care for them, what would have been the outcome? It would have been better. It would have been better for them. And that's why I said the art of being a father is really missed. What's going on, Prize? How you feeling, baby boy?
Salute, brother. Peace to the chat.
What you got for us, man?
Hey, man, I was just listening to you cook, man. That was a good cook. Keep it going. I'm
No, it's
enjoying.
your, I brought
I'm
you. I
being a
brought you up
fan
for your
right now.
perspective. I brought you up for your perspective, man. That's what it's about, man. I was gonna start it off, give you my argument, and I want all the brothers to come through,
Yeah,
tell you what they think.
I mean, you said it all, bro. I mean, I grew up different. My dad was a military man, so like Marky said, like a dictatorship almost. It was like the certain thing every day. But as far as me with my kids, I know I show up and show out. Like I just got back to Jersey. I'm flying out at 6 a.m. tomorrow to go make a daddy daughter dance. So it's all about I like to be. I'm an active parent. You feel me? I'm just active, bro. I want to like what you said. I want to give my kids what I want, what I wanted. What I wanted my dad to do. But my stepdad was an amazing. He's a Marine and he was amazing. So when I had my kids, like I already knew what time it was. You feel me? So
Yeah.
but that was like you should highlight that and clip that like what you said like what you saying. You need to cut that up, bro. You was cooking.
What you got for me, Free? Puerto Rico.
Free on mute. Let him get his audio together. Crush.
Oh,
Oh
Salute.
yeah, my bad, my
There you
bad,
go.
my bad.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
I appreciate the live you doing today. It's a good
Yeah.
live.
Hmm.
Need to be said. I'm one of those guys. I've always been in my kids' life. I got five kids. Well, six technically. I got six biological kids. Um, Five of them I've always been in their life. The sixth one I didn't know that I had another child until he was 18. Um, but my five that I knew from birth, me and my ex-wife, I was with my kids the entire time, and even when we got a divorce, I took my kids with me. My kids is living with me now. They here with me. Their mother is in New York. Um, and even now that I'm a grandfather, I'm doing stuff for my grandkids every single day. Like I literally just got back in the house maybe an hour ago from taking my granddaughter to her dance class. I'm actually about to start being a coach for my grandson's football team.
So I mean,
Nice.
it's always good to be part of the kids' life because the kids are the ones that didn't ask to be here. You
Right.
made them, and so you gotta show them the way of being a, a upstanding citizen. I'm not going to say law abiding because the laws change every day. It might be a law that they we're telling them to do, and then later down the line that law change. So I want them to be an upstanding citizen. I want them to be able to take care of their family the best way they know how. Um, so you gotta teach them, and I understand it's easier said than done, and we gotta realize a lot of times these guys and these women have kids at a young age and they
Mm-hmm.
not ready to be parents,
Me.
and they lay down and they gotta deal with the responsibility, but you gotta understand they made a mistake. They human just like the rest of us. They made a mistake and they not ready to be in that role to be a parent. So
Right.
you gotta guide them to become a parent. Even with my stepdaughter, my stepsons, and all them, we still around showing them what they got to do or little things. We let them raise their kids the way they want to raise them, but they ask us for advice. We guide them the way that they need to go. But sometimes it's harder to be a young parent because you remember when you was that age, you wanted to still go out and party, still go out and do stuff, still have a life. When you become a parent, you don't always have that free time because the baby might be sick or the mother got something they got to do. Somebody got to stay home and watch the child, or you might have to go work because you got to be able to provide a household and keep the bills and everything paid for the house. So you got to understand when you're dealing with younger people, you just got to be patient and you got to guide them and show them because becoming an adult comes with experience and comes with um, knowledge. If they don't know how to be adult, they can't be adult. They only know how to be what they see out in the street or what they read about or what they hear about. Nobody comes into this world as an adult. You're grown into being an adult, and that comes with experience and knowledge. And so you just gotta guide the young people if they in your family, guide them the right way, talk to them, and have a conversation with them. It ain't got to be something like you telling them what to do, but just have a conversation with them and guide them.
Yeah, what you got on the crush?
Peace to everybody, man. It's a very incredible thing to create life. Let me just start off with that. Just being a creator of life. Let's just start with that because that's where it's at. Everything else just falls under the umbrella. So from that very point, you must take this serious. And being a parent, period, it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. I seen people come up without fathers. I came up somewhat without my father. I seen people come up without neither one of their parents. They can be there, not be there. And some people had to be a parent for themselves because their parents wasn't there. Even if they was there, they wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be a parent for yourself, to fend for yourself at a young age, and I've seen people do it. It's an amazing thing. And then when you become a parent, the main thing you want to do is to give your child a better life than yourself. You want what you create to be better than you, not just like you, not less than you, but better than you. You want to give them more things than you have. Because none of us asked to be here. We don't even know how life got here. Let's just be honest. We still don't know, but we here. And to bring and to create life and abandon it.
Yeah.
Abandon yourself. Because when you lay down, naturally, possibility, you're going to create life. And just to see it, to be in a hospital and to stand there and see your creation come out into this world that we got to protect them, and some of us are not good at it. That's why, as a father, I've always been a protector just as well as a provider. Because there's a whole lot of nonsense and dangerous people out here, even in your own family tree. So you have to be protective. Because a lot of our parents raised us, but were they really protective? No, because we done got into some ish. Things that happen. So that's one of the most important things for me, being a parent, just as well as providing, as protecting and teaching them. We only they book. We just guide them until they reach the point to where they're doing the same things that we doing. But if you don't teach them the right way and they don't have it, how can they be good at it? But with that being said, I have seen some of these same people that never had a parent be awesome parents. And I also seen people who came up so very well, men, came up very well, that had their mothers and their fathers and they like, they had a good life. Be deadbeats.
Yeah.
So when you create life and you in it, like you, BBO, Prize, D3, all the fathers in the chat, and myself, that's an incredible thing. And that's one thing you should always, if it's only one thing you should be motivated to do and not anything else, is to take care of your creation and guide them and train them. So when it's their time, they can be a better parent than what you was to them. Because that's what it's about, reproducing. That's what your generational DNA is about, people. It's not just about creating life at all. No, that's why you see every parent going all out. You say they crazy. They spending all this money, this, that, and other, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Some people only get to be a parent once. Some people don't even get to be a parent fully because they die off way before they can even raise their child. I lost my mother at 27.
Let me piggyback off of Crush Roof. I was going to piggyback off of what Crush said just a minute ago. In life, you come up, you strive to be the best at you want to be the best student, you want to be the best employee, you want to be the best football player, you want to be the best boxer. Everything in life you try to be the best at. The one thing that nobody can be better than you at is being your child's parent. Nobody can be better as your child parent than you, because you're the only parent that child had. Now, they might have foster parents, but that's not their biological parents. You're their biological parent. That child will always, if you treat that child right, that child will always love you better than anybody else would. Will always love you better than anybody else would.
Yeah. And I think the thing that I've been learning through time, it's a funny story, but I remember watching Dr. King say that when he was coming up, he did not realize how blessed he was to grow up in the environment he grew up in. And I think about people like my great aunt Sarah. I think about people like my aunt Teresa, my aunt Ree, my aunt T. And it's so crazy because I grew up in the church, so we had an extended family. Mother Ola, my aunt Bernie, my uncle Sonny, my uncle Al. And what's so funny about all that? A lot of those people I'm naming are all gone. And the thing I'll tell you is, I hope I'm honoring their legacy by being a father, the best father I can be. And it just brings me so much joy to be a father. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful, man. And I even had
Me too,
people
brother.
come to me with microaggressions, as they call it, where a lady was asking me, she said, "You only got this amount of kids? That's all you got?" And I thought, I thought she was like, being like she was so surprised, but she just made it seem like she just couldn't believe I only had a certain amount of children. And there wasn't with a bunch of people, and he just like, I don't know. I just always remember hearing that. And I thought to myself like, I could have did that, but if you don't have the time to spend the time with the children, there's no use in having too many that you can't spend time with. Yeah, it's great to have a lot of kids like Elon Musk, Nick Cannon, but you're fooling yourself if you think you can pour into them the way someone poured into you. And I used to I had to learn that I can't say I came from nothing, because that's a slap in the face. People like my grandma, grandfather, you know what I mean? Those people who really worked hard for us all to make it. And it's like, I look at my daughter now and I'm just so happy, like, to see her growing up with her mother and father. I'm making her breakfast every morning. I had to get to school early if I wanted breakfast. If I wanted breakfast, I had to get my tail to school, because they used to have this cold peanut butter and jelly graham cracker sandwich. They would have that, juice, and pears. And we talk about, it sound like nothing now, but man, it was like Planet of the Apes. There'd be so many young brothers in there trying to get some food before we got to school, man. Free lunch. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about cats throwing up. Throwing hands up. They ain't throwing up the peace sign. you know what I mean? Cats throwing hands outside, because they used to have like one project, one apartment. They would use one apartment in the projects, and she would bring the box lunches from the free lunch program. And I used to see that fox with the apron on and the hat, the chef's hat, free lunch for all kids in Cuyahoga County, whatever. And I used to say, man, I wish I could bust his head wide open, because I hate getting this free lunch. And I remember the funniest thing I ever seen was me and this cat. We had got some frozen meat. His mom or whatever they used to call it like hitting a leak. His mom had boosted some meat from somewhere. And I remember me and him going crazy because I grabbed a box of burgers and I was out of there with them burgers. And it's just so funny because that brother really chased me down about that box of burgers, man. And it's so funny that it was that we was doing that bad that we about to. I mean, we about to hurt each other over the burgers, man. We about to hurt each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with free lunches and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't grow up I didn't grow up well off, but the one thing that I've never said in my entire life, and I
Mm-hmm.
hear a lot of people say it before, and I always try to understand what they were talking about.
Yeah,
I never said I came from nothing,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I came from my mother and my father. My mother and my father was my world. My father, I'm a split image of my father. So I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I came from nothing." No, you came from your parents. I mean, they did the best that they can do to raise you. What did you get abused? No. Was you homeless? No. What did you have a roof over? I mean, clothes on your back? Yeah. Did you have your lights and stuff on? Yeah. Well, then you had a great childhood. Now, it might not have been the childhood that you see other people had, but you
yeah,
had a great childhood because you had your parents in your life. Y'all had a home. You wasn't homeless. You had a roof over your head. You had food on the table. I mean, you had a great childhood. Like, I was always one of the ones that, even though I didn't have a lot, my parents, they always made sure that we had what we supposed to have. Like, we never came outside looking bummy or nothing like that. My
yeah,
parents always made sure that we looked nice whenever we
yeah,
was going out somewhere or whenever we was going to school. But the one thing that I always did, and a lot of kids don't do it nowadays, but I was one of those kids. I'm going outside to have fun. I can't have fun in the house like I can have fun outside, because I could go play. I could play freeze tag. I could play hide go seek. I could play
Football,
football.
basketball, right?
Yeah, I can't do that in the house. I can do that outside. So even though I might have been in the hood, or I mean, I ain't never lived in the projects, but I have lived in the hood. I might have been in the hood. Man, I had a bunch of friends outside. We was back when I was coming up. I mean, it was still bad in the 80s coming up in DC, but it wasn't like it is now. They had respect for the kids and the grandparents and the wives,
And
stuff
just the
like that.
elders, yeah,
Nowadays,
just period.
yeah, nowadays they don't have respect for nobody. But when I was coming up, man, you could ride down my block and see kids in the street playing football, jumping double dutch, all kinds of stuff, playing
Yeah.
basketball on a milk crate. They made their own basketball court on a milk
Nail
crate.
that mug to the telephone pole. Free be
Yeah,
out there
man,
hooping.
it was
Be out
awful.
there hooping.
I mean, like I said, me personally, when you come from that and you make your life the way what you always picture you see on TV or whatever, however you want to make your life, when you say, okay, I came from that and I'm here, you appreciate it a lot more. Because if you came from already having money, you don't know anything different. So when you actually lose money, it hits you a lot worse than somebody like me. If I was to go back down into living in the in the hood, it won't affect me that much because I know how to adjust. But a person that came from money, they don't know how to adjust to go living in the hood now, being broke and not having no money. They don't know how to adjust to that because they always had money. Their parents was well off and they always had money in their bank account. So now that they don't have no money, now they got to adjust to something that they never did. But when you're coming from living in a low income family and you working your way up to be in the upper middle class or being well off, you went through the changes of life. So you know how to adjust in every form of life. But when you was born into that, like P. Diddy kids, his kids was born into money. If they lose everything, they're not going to know how to adjust to being in the hood anymore. They're not going to know how to adjust to that because they never been there. Same thing with some of these celebrities,
Mhm.
kids. They're not going to know how to adjust to that because they never came from that. They always had money. So I like where I came from
Me
because
too.
it helped me be the man that I am. It helped me appreciate the things that I get a lot more. It helped me appreciate life a lot more. When you didn't have to work for anything and you was born into it, you feel like you're owed that. You feel like it's supposed to be there. You don't feel like you got to go work for it. So I
unless
like where I came
unless
from.
unless like how I grew up, like just because you got it, you have to convince like I like my people, like I call my grandparents like the chairman or something, the CEOs. If you got an idea and you want to get some funding, you got to go through a whole process. It ain't no just, oh, here, grandson, here's 25,000. No, you better have a game plan. You better have a funnel or something. You better have it. And what happens is you know that you got it, but you can't get your hands on it. It's literally right there. And then when you do get some of it, you got to take that and then you got to start flipping your own and making your own. You can't just
And,
be spoiled. That's why I can adapt to anything. So if I got to go back to the hood, if I got to ever go to the hood, I'll adapt real easily. You know what
And
I'm
you know
saying?
why?
Because I got the
You know why that
instincts
is.
in me.
You know why that is so? Is because your grandparents or your parents, they came from being like I was when I was a kid to making themselves well off. So now you
Mhm.
don't have to struggle as much, but you
But
still got to work for what you want
exactly.
because they're not giving it to you. You still got to
Exactly.
work
So
for it.
people be like, "Oh, prize, you got yeah, I got it, but I got a nice jump start, but I ultimately turn with all the stuff that I accumulated. Man, when I pull up with stuff or show some stuff, my family be impressed. You know what I'm saying?
Like
So it's
I give
all
you a
good.
perfect example.
What I
I give
what
you a
I'll
perfect
say.
example.
Go
Like
ahead,
Paris
free.
Hilton. Paris Hilton never worked for anything. The Kardashians, they never worked for anything. That stuff was given to them.
Right.
They that
I've been
stuff
in the union for
literally was
23
handed to them.
years. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I'm coming
I'll
up on
say this. I'll
25
say
years
this.
in the union, dog.
When you talk about first generation, your motivation is gonna be external, the neighborhood, the smell, the people. But when you talking about like like my daughter or the people that's coming after you, that's doing better, it's got to be internal. They got to have the intestinal fortitude to want to be great when things are easy. I was telling my older daughter this today that enjoy being able to walk home and ain't nobody trying to press you. Enjoy being able to walk home and you safe. Not saying it wasn't safe for me, but the other little kids, the kids made it unsafe for other kids. Um, because most people's mom and dad was trying to work, whether they worked at Rite Aid, where they worked at, it used to be a gas station called Sitco or wherever the case may be. I just think I always say I learned so much from there, growing up like that. Cause like when I go out to eat, I don't care where I'm at. I'm going to wipe the table off. I'm going to stack every dish on the table. When I'm out with people, I'm gonna put every fork and put every fork and knife in the cups. I'm gonna put all the ice in one cup because my grandmother did what they call day work. A lot of people don't know what day work. That's like being a maid. And she always made it important. They ain't your slave. Take care of people as they take care of you. And I'm so grateful. And people laugh at me to this day that I'll wipe the table off real good and stack the
Hey,
dishes up because they
BBO,
don't do that no more. But I
we do the
just did
same
that
thing.
because my grandmother just made it my grandma and grandfather made it a big deal to do that. So it's just so when I look at myself now, I can only say, like Free said, I would agree perfectly with you saying, Free. We didn't grow up bad. You just happen to be poor. But I got to go to Tours R Us and spend my Tours R Us bucks and dance with all the girls from the East Side. I got to go to the Pokemon tournament. You know what I mean? Or back in the day, my grandma took me to the Michael Jordan restaurant, and I ain't gonna lie, Mike was my guy, still is. He is me. I am him. I want to be like Mike. What? Oh, like Mike. I used to love Mike. I used to love Mike. Cause in Cleveland they got something called WGN. WGN had all the Chicago Bull games on there. And I got to watch Mike. He was older when I watched him. It was like this is like 97, 98. I used to watch Soul Train with Shamar Moore, and then I watched the Bulls game. And even when I think about those times, things were so much more simple back then. And I look at social media. Now you even got this thing where you got these billionaires talking about they want to go away from democracy. I think that's what happens when you have too many choices. You just say and do anything. I miss the '90s with cats, women and men could have conversations, and it's not everything now is so corny. You got the Instagram where the girls are naked. You got to have so much self control because you can't even get up and done because every time you turn up, it's a new woman, or you know what I mean. Though I think those distractions, man, really hurt us overall. And
No,
excuse me for being.
I be nervous to open up my Instagram around my wife. I'm like, man, I don't know what's gonna pop up on this trail.
Hey, I think we all have learned that, man. It's time out for the BS because at the end of the day, that stuff really wear on you, man. What you eat will come out. So what you feed your soul comes out. And I've just learned. I've been really, really understanding now that you gotta eat better. You gotta drink your spring water. You gotta talk better, and you gotta get on your knees and thank whoever that you believe in, and just say, you know what, thank you for another day.
Yeah.
The simple
Hey,
things like that. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
hey, Bentley, hey, I'm telling you, McDonald's after Sunday morning church, no, especially the playground at McDonald's, man. The playground at McDonald's was the best playground in the world. I'm like, man, I don't want to go to the neighborhood playground. I want a McDonald's playground. That was the best neighborhood.
Man, they had something called the All American Meal, a cheeseburger, a
Oh
fry,
yeah,
and a drink. Oh my
yeah.
God.
No,
Hey,
I be riding around my neighborhood now, and I look at the playgrounds of the basketball court. I'm like, man, where's all the people at?
it's
I'm like,
empty.
dog,
Yeah.
they don't even go outside and play. Like I see a couple of kids out here playing around, but when I was coming up, man, you couldn't find an empty block when I was coming up. It was you don't even have ice cream trucks that ride around anymore. Like when I was
No, you
coming up,
don't. I haven't heard ice cream truck in I don't know when.
you used to have ice cream trucks that ride around. No, I remember I wanted to buy an ice cream truck. I like, man, you know how much money I can make if I buy an ice cream truck? I know all these neighborhoods I can hit.
Well, I
Man, I
wish
don't even
Mr.
care.
Salty would keep his behind off of my block because he be coming through tearing me up because he can't tell the kid no. But we get the
Yeah,
salty trucks where I'm at. But now
yeah,
I told him,
especially
get
in
out of
Philly,
here, man.
man.
Sell him that
Yeah, I
$8
need
ice
see what
cream.
I had growing
Listen,
up.
the
You
ice
guys
cream
probably
trucks
you
is
probably never
alive in
probably heard of
Philly.
this. Oh my bad. Go ahead, Crush.
The ice cream trucks is in full effect evasion in Philly. you'll start hearing them probably the next day. Here comes Mr. Softy. Yes, sir. They out here, man. Yeah. But yeah,
And I
that's
see, and y'all good because when we didn't have the ice cream truck, it would be a little old lady. I never forget. What was her name? Doggone, I can't think of her name. But anyway, she was an older
the
lady,
candy lady. The candy
and she would
lady.
have candy. She would have single cigarettes, Black and Miles, and she would have like
Every
these cups. She would have these little styrofoam cups of Kool-Aid, and she would let you could pick, and what you would do, they'd be frozen, and you just pull the styrofoam cup away, you just eat it all the way down for a quarter. And I remember like going to the store, you can get 4 bags, you can get a bag of chips was a quarter. And it's like I laugh at that stuff now because I would complain back then, but you know what? I didn't know how good it was.
yeah.
I didn't know how
No,
good it was, man.
I miss the old picnics back in the day. They don't have those big picnics like they used to have back in the day with
No, they
the
don't. They
whole
don't.
the whole neighborhood be out there having a good time. You ain't have to worry about nobody fighting or nobody shooting or none of that. Nowadays, you have more than 10 people on a block. You sitting there looking around to make sure ain't nobody driving through to try to shoot up the block. I was like, man, I'm not going out there. I'm not.
be
No,
free.
too many people on the block. Too many.
If I
I know
see
something about to
5
happen.
people, if I see 5 people, I got my antennas on because they fools out here, man. These fools. I'm trying to
And,
tell
and
y'all.
you know, and you know the funny thing about it, there used to be like I don't know if you guys ever seen a traveling fair that would come. Like right when we got out of school, like when we got out of school in June all the time, the second week or first week of June, they would have what they call the Kenmore Carnival. You go down there, all the honeys be down there, all oiled up. We in a new school year. I didn't got the 7th grade. We down there, and you know, back when I was coming up, we were trying to mac on all the girls. You know, I got my fresh K Swiss on, my Nikes, whatever's going on that time. I'm coming through because I don't know if you guys remember, you used to have platinum food with Muhammad Ali. And I remember I had this blue velour Muhammad Ali suit. And man, I thought I was that guy. And I can remember going up and down, talking to all the chicks on my little Virgin mobile phone with the white back. It was a flip phone, it was white. And we thought it was so cool because it had a ringtone on it. And it's funny now that very fair is gone because all the young dudes now will go down there and throw hands and fight and try to hurt each other. Not even Mac on the honeys, and the honeys will be out. I just
Yeah.
I never got that. You know me, I want to take whatever few dollars I done made through the week. I want to go skating. I want to go get a honey ice cream cone so I could tell her
Yeah.
what I thought about. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that was my thing that I used to do every week, and I used to go roller skating every week. If I wasn't at the roller skating ring, I was at the bowling alley or I was in the gym playing basketball. That's what I did every weekend.
Yeah,
That was my thing.
of course, we roller skated, man, every weekend. If I wasn't roller skating, I probably was out at the park doing something, at a
Hooping.
party, probably at the gym. But yeah, we used to have fun, and they made sure that we was doing something. You know, they don't make sure that the kids do anything today. They made sure we was into something.
Hey,
You know, and
I remember when Felix was the shoe to wear. I remember
Pilates,
when
yeah, Pilates was the spot, man.
I
Pilates,
seen a
listen,
dude. I seen a dude 2 days ago. He had a whole
you
Felix
Pilates out.
sweatsuit with the matching shoes. I was like, damn, I didn't even remember. I didn't even know they still make those. I
Yeah,
don't even remember the
You know,
last
that
time
was
I
the
seen a
original
pair of
shoe. That
Felix.
was the original shoe, man. I remember you know, I didn't know much about rap back then, but I always knew about there used to be this guy, Eric B. Everybody my age call him Uncle Lee. And I remember how fresh Uncle E used to be. And that brother had that Fila on, man, with the rings. He was like the first dude I ever seen, like with Super Bowl rings, baseball. You'd be like, how you get a New York Yankees ring? How you get a New York Giants championship ring? And you would see people like Uncle Lee, you'd be like, dang, that's how I want to dress. Or
I'm gonna
me
tell you
growing up, want to dress like Young Dro, polo to the floor.
I'm
Go
gonna tell
ahead.
you my first experience I ever had with Payless. I knew about Payless, but I never been in Payless. So it was my the week that we was about to start school. I think I was going to like the 3rd grade. No, I was going to the 6th grade. And every year, my father and my mother, they buy us fresh shoes, about 6 or 7 outfits, so we could be fresh the first week of school. And so my father was away. He was away on business, so he didn't get back in time to take us school shopping. So my mother was like, "Well, we're just gonna get you something for today, and then we're gonna take y'all school shopping when y'all get out of school, because your father will be back in town this afternoon." So my mother took us to Payless and bought us some them all white shoes that look like Reebok Classics, but they wasn't Reebok Classics. She bought us Pro Wings. That's what they was. They was Pro Wings. She bought us some Pro Wings, but they looked like Reebok Classics, but they wasn't Reebok Classics. So we get ready to get up, go to school the next morning, and my father happened to come home early. He came home right before we walked out the door. My father looked at us. He was like, "Hold up, man, what you got my kids wearing?" Nah, y'all not going to school today. Nope, they're not going to school today. My sons are not going to school with no Pro Wings on. Man, my father, he kept us out home from school the first day of school, took us to the mall.
Oh, wow.
We went shopping. And I came back. That's when Jordan had came out with those black and gray Jordans. They look like snakeskin, but it was suede. I forgot what number they was, but they was all black, and it looked like it had snakeskin across the front, around the toe and the heel, but it was all gray and black.
I feel like those are like fours. No, or the
I think they was fours. I think they was fours. My father bought me, because I had the ones, and then I had got the fours. The fours was the next one I had got. I got the ones, and then I got the fours. So my father bought me those, and we went to school. My mom was like, "So what I'm gonna do with these?" He's like, "You can take them back and give it to the homeless people, whatever you want to do. But my kids ain't wearing them." I didn't know nothing about Payless, but that was the first time I ever went. Man, I laughed so hard when I got older and realized what Payless was about. I laughed so hard because I remember that, because I remember my father said, "Nah, y'all not going to school today." Nope.
Payless is nasty.
Hey, since you bought Payless up, man, and you bought up Pro Wings, I got to share this quick funny story with you guys, man. So listen, so there, when you got the type of females in the neighborhood, and the guys be pressed to get them, and you got to kick out a little something to get a little something, right? So listen, right? So it was this homie that we had that was in our little 5-man crew, right? Named Wilbert, right? And he was just different. I'm going to just say that, long story short. So he came to me and said, "Yo," he said, "Man, I'm going to say something to her." I said, "Well, who?" "I'm going to say something to Diane." I said, "What Diane?" I said, "Hot Diane?" I'm just using that word, okay? We got to keep it clean here. I said, "Hot Diane?" I said, man, she ain't worrying about you. You different. He said, "But I can give her something or whatever she asks for." I said, "Man, you ain't got that type of money. Your parents ain't give you that type of allowance." So he said, "Watch I say something to her. I'm going to find out what she want." So I said, "Yo," I said, "I heard that she like Reeboks." So he was like, "For real?" I said, "Yeah, so tell her you going to buy some Reeboks or whatever, blah, blah, blah." So he goes to her. He says something to her, right, y'all? So she tells him, "Yeah, I'll get me a pair of Reeboks." So he come back. He tells us, "Hey, man, yeah, I'm going to get her some Reeboks or whatever." We was like, "Well, when you going to get them?" "We going to the sneaker store tomorrow." So he said, "Man, I got to see how much money I got left out my allowance in my bank." We was like, "All right." So he go home. He counted his little change up. He had $16.34. This is what he had in his bank, right? So he said, "Man, I got $16.34. We was like, "Man, you ain't getting no Reeboks with that, bro." So then he was like, "Can y'all loan me some money?" I said, "Man, listen, I ain't giving you no money so you can go get that. I said, "I ain't doing that, man. I will give you $5, but not for that. No, we're not going to do that." So he was like, "Man, forget y'all, man. I'm gonna make it happen anyway. So he goes off. We're around my other homie crib, so he comes around here. He said, "Listen," he said, "Man, she want me to come over our house tonight." He was like, "All right, well, what you gonna do?" He said, "Man, I ain't got the Reeboks." I said, "Well, what you got instead? Did you get some money? Let's give her the money. If you got the money, you can give her some Reeboks." He said, "No, I need one of y'all to go get me a Reebok box." We was like, "A Reebok box?" He was like, man, we started laughing. I said, "For what?" So my man Harold was laughing because he was with him, because I think Harold put him up to this idea, y'all, right? But to this day, he still said it wasn't him. So I said, "We can't give you no Reebok box, man. We dudes. You need a Reebok box for the females. What are you doing?" He said, "Man," he said, "I know your sister got a couple Reebok boxes. Come on, y'all." I said, "You know what? You right." So I goes in the house. I said, "I got it." So I ain't see the sneaks yet. We ain't know what the heck he had got. He just said he needed the Reebok box. Okay, give him the box or whatever. I didn't say, "Dude, my sister ain't gonna worry about the sneaks. You know what I mean, the box. Go ahead, you can take them." So he goes around back home or whatever. So he said, "I'm going around here." He goes around here, y'all, right? He makes it happen. And then the next day, she comes on the block. She said, "Where this motherfucker at?" We was like, why, what's wrong?" I said, "Did he do something?" She said, "He came over and with his little broke self, and he was supposed to bought me some Reeboks." So we was like, well, what's wrong? So my man Howard was like, you must have gave him some before you got the Reeboks, before you got the sneakers, right? She was like, "Yeah." She said, "He bought the bag and they was in the box. I just looked and seen the size. I didn't look in the box." I said, "Y'all got busy?" She was like, "Yeah, y'all know he ain't my type, but you know how I am. I charge him up." We was like, "What was in the box?" She said, "I got the box right here." When she opened the box, it was a pair of all white goddamn Pro Wings, man. Yo, she
Crazy.
chased this dude around. Yo, listen. You know how Damon was chasing Money Mike around Friday at the Next, man? She really chased this dude around for like a month, and then they and
That's
everybody
what's up.
found out about it, and they was like, "Oh man, you ain't Hyacinth Diddy no more. We just gotta get you a pair of Bobos, man."
Yeah.
His little goofy behind poured it off, man. I said, "Wow." So when you said
Air
that Pro
Bobos. That's what they would call them,
I,
Air Bobos. When I was
Bobos,
younger, that's when Starberry had all his stores and cats be
Yeah,
coming in with their stuff on Marberries and
that joint be real cheap stuff. That Starberry
me
stuff.
being a jerk,
Yeah.
I'm roasting everybody. Cats coming in with the more combo with that basketball of the jacket on from Starberry. And
Yeah.
I'm out there laying them out. But the funny thing about it, the reason I brought that up is when I was young, I didn't understand that some people going through it way worse than you. I actually
mm-hmm.
have a friend who was growing up and his father was abusing him. And I
Mm.
remember he and me and my friends got together, said we gonna kick his dad's butt. This silverback gorilla beat us to death. And it was
Yeah.
so crazy. I'm like 5'11". My other buddy, he like 6'4". My other buddy 6 feet. We thinking we big. We like the oldest person was 13. And the way his dad was a big guy. That silverback gorilla, he beat us up good, and it was like he took it easy. And I'll never forget feeling so hopeless watching my friend get beat up. And, unfortunately, his dad caused some serious damage to his eye. It was just a bunch of crazy stuff. And it's like, I couldn't believe I was surrounded with people like that. It was rough, man. But
It was.
I had some good times, but those rough times
Yeah.
really stay with you, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I had
pretty
a, I
much
had,
had good times, man.
Uh,
Didn't come up bad. Bad times are just stuff that you go through. But man, always had clothes on my back. Always was nice and presentable.
yeah.
Always kept a little couple pennies in my pocket until I was able to get it myself. So grandma took care of us, you know what I mean? So that was a good thing that the mom passed, and it is what it is. My dad, he was around until, the drugs got him, things like that. But he always was around to share that wisdom. If he could do nothing else, he could do that. And I never shunned away from it. But yeah, I didn't have it bad, but I seen people really come up and suffer, like
Yeah.
abuse, physical abuse, rape, all that. We staked out in one of my homie cribs in the basement, waiting for his stepdad to come home because his stepdad was out of pocket, and they father got killed in little gang wars, so he wasn't around no more. And his stepdad was very abusive, and he used to beat on him and his sister. And one day they both came to school. They both was lumped up. We was like in the 8th grade. And we was like, well, damn, what y'all was fighting each other? They was like, no, it's Mr. Derrick. And we was like, oh man. So our buddy Pooh, he was like the biggest guy on our squad. He was like 13 years old, but he was like BBO size that he said he was. And one punch from Pooh, you going to sleep. I don't care what age you was. He land one on you, you going to sleep. So we was around there one day, and he was pissing off at the mom and everything and jumping in her face. He had her intimidated and stuff. So we started fussing. Don't be talking to her, her like that and all that. Y'all young boys, y'all stay in a boy's place. We said, okay. He talked some stuff. So we waited the next day for him to come home, all 5 of us. We was in the basement. And he come in, why didn't bring something up for the basement? She was like, because I'm in the shower, boom, boom, boom. Where your son at? Oh, he outside with his friends. And so he should be in here. I'ma F him up. Whole time we in the basement. He got to come down in the basement because they had a bar in the basement. When he came down to that bar, oh, he got barred. Listen, we beat this man up so bad. He left the house. He never called the mom again. They ain't seen him for 6 or 7 months. Now, my friend Chris, me and him, we don't look alike, but at a glimpse, we do. Except for if you really look at us close, we really don't look alike. We're just like the same size and around the same complexion. Wore the same type of hairstyle, but something was really wrong with this dude. Really, something was wrong with him. And he was the one that did the worst to him. So after disappearing for like 6 or 7 months, when he used to come around and he used to see me, he just used to just like get nervous and stuff. And they was like, yo, why he acting like that with you? I'm like, I don't know, because we all kicked his ass. I ain't, do anything to him like that. So we was like, who ain't around? We said, damn, this dude, Chris, this dude was a demon, man. He stabbed boy in his left eye 4 times, man, off of that. And that was crazy, but
Crazy work.
it got him up out of there. No more abuse to my homie, his sister, and his mom, thanks to us, man. We didn't care. We took some lumps of abuse, but we beat the brakes off him. It wasn't
Look,
easy.
check this out, fellas. I gotta get ready to get up out of here, man. I got an early flight in the morning, man. I gotta lay down and get some rest. So, man, I will check you brothers tomorrow evening.
Oh yeah, do your thing, man. Do your thing.
All right,
Appreciate
man.
you.
Yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow evening.
All
Hey,
right.
and shout out to
All right,
Billy. Said
peace.
I ain't gonna lie. I always knew we wasn't rich, but even though we grew up in the hood, everything. I go. Let me see. I go to my friend's house and look at the pantry full of snacks. And you know what's so funny? When people on food stamps, you should see the type of stuff they buy. I can remember you go over somebody's house and said they got a loser dude and they ain't eating lobster tails, scallops, shrimp, and I just remember that. But I tell you what, man, I'm excited. We're gonna do more topics like this. We not just gonna only have boxing. We here to talk and reach people and have real conversations. That's what we do as a sports talk network. We got D Free, we got my man Tommy, Puerto Rican Tommy, I like to call him White Tommy. And of course we got my man Crush the Legend. Shout out to our chairman, Thomas here, our co-chairman, uh the TD Sports Talk, and shout out CDK as well. So on that note, your brothers got anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna be live tomorrow. I was supposed to go live today, but like I said, I had to take my granddaughter to her dance class. So I'll be live tomorrow at 6:00, and we're gonna talk about the free agency. There was a lot of big moves made today, so we're gonna be talking about that tomorrow.
And guess what, everybody? Kirk Cousins is on his way to Cleveland. Just so everybody know. Kirk
Oh
Cousins
wow.
is on his way to Cleveland. Just so everybody know.
Kirk, I call that man just wait for it. Because he's gonna have a good game, you just gotta wait for it. He's gonna slip up at some point.
We're gonna have him and Travis Hunter. Oh my God. Woo.
We'll see what y'all do, man.
What Monster say? Oof. Shout out to Monk. You always do that. Oof. Whenever he sees something cool, he's not gonna say nothing else but oof. I don't know why he would make that noise. All right, y'all. Check out Dub Right Side. I believe the right side to be on tonight. And we out of here, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Oh, and don't forget Crush Legend tomorrow in the morning. Peace.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching BVO. And if you're down with BVO, subscribe and join the community. Have a great night.